It started.
All right. Yeah, we're here. Hey, everybody. If anyone is here watching, welcome. Today, I'm joined by Larry from Larry's Library. How you doing, Larry?
Pretty good.
And David from Garage Geek. How's it going, David?
I'm ready to go. Ask me a
Ready
question.
to go? Okay. Yeah. So this has kind of been brought on by me coming up on my first year of having a booktube channel, a YouTube channel. And, it's been an interesting ride so far. And Larry and Dave have both been maybe 4 years, we decided, maybe almost 4 or so.
6, 7.
Yeah, I think 4.
Oh, we have Ariane here. Hi, Ariane. How are you doing? Pop in and say hi, but can't stay too long. That's quite all right. Thank you for saying hi. Appreciate it. So I thought I kind of looked at some booktube birthday kind of questions. David gave me a few really cool questions. So we came up with a list of 10 questions about being a YouTuber, because I don't want to call Larry exactly a booktuber. He's a comic booktuber, I guess. So, it's adjacent, booktube adjacent, comic tuber, YouTuber for sure. And you have another channel as well, right, Larry? And then David has 2 channels.
Kind of.
So I just came up with our guy collated a few questions, and we thought we'd go through them and see what we have. Hi, Greg. How you doing? Ghost Reader in the Sky. Ghost Readers in the Sky. What a great channel name, by the way, Greg.
Yeah.
I thought we doing kind of on both ends of the spectrum. Some veteran guys here joining me, and then my more newbie-ish self, I guess. So the first question that we have is, how has your channel or your approach to making video content changed from your first video to now? So, David, you want to start us off with that one? What do you think about that?
Sure. So my approach has totally changed. At the beginning, a lot of people give you advice to just put out as much content as you can. And I started, I think, in the summer. And so I would put out video after video. And after a while, like, people were complaining. They're like, I like the channel.
Really? They were complaining?
You need to stop. And I was just like, well, the advice is always just put out as much as you can. And then another thing that I did was I would hyper produce my videos. Like, I would make so many edits. I would try to do fancy things. And the audience just doesn't want that. They want a talking head. And that's what they'll watch. So if you want to put a ton of effort into your videos, and you're basically wasting time, because more people will watch you like this than if you take hours editing your videos. And so
I guess it depends on the kind of channel, like the people with travel channels or whatever, they need to put a lot of effort in. But yeah, for just like what we're doing.
Nobody wanted to watch that. So anyways.
So what about the content or the focus of your videos? You started off more as a music vinyl channel?
No, I used to do a ton of vinyl videos. The first people that kind of latched onto me, well, actually, I latched onto them. I started challenging a lot of people in the vinyl community, and some of them responded, but mostly they were the people in like the death metal camp. And it was pretty funny because
I remember that.
They would like make me listen to this crazy death metal stuff, and I would have them listening to Enya or
Cannibal Corpse or something like that.
And so, like, I remember one was such a struggle for me. It was At the Gates, and that album was just like so hard for me to listen to. And I told them I'd have to listen to it at least twice a day. And I just remember that album being agony to listen to. But it was really funny because after a little while, it clicked and I started to really like it. But
right. That's another thing. You have really Catholic taste, so you like a lot of different things, and you seem open-minded about a lot of different things, which is a really good way to be, especially people with music.
Yeah.
Your music tastes, a lot of experts have said, kind of solidify when you're in your teens or early 20s, and then a lot of people, they never change. And yours, you keep expanding.
I'll listen to anything. Anyway,
didn't you get into like some kind of a brouhaha with some punk fans or something?
Oh yeah, one time a punk guy wanted, he said, post your singles, and because I guess punk singles are really eclectic, very artistic. They're like almost one of a kind, like they self art. you know, whenever you buy a punk single and you go to the like venue, like they'll have the like basically crayoned it themselves or something. And so he was like, show you singles. So I made a video where I showed 5 Phil Collins singles. And they did not like it. They were like coming after me, and I'm like, whatever. It said show 5 singles, and I showed 5. But anyways, it was kind of funny.
So, but now, just for those who aren't familiar, if there is anyone who isn't familiar with your channel, then you have, since you still cover vinyl, but you cover a lot of other things: books, TV shows, movies, comics, puzzles.
Whatever I feel like talking
toys,
about.
whatever, right?
Chiquita banana stickers.
That's
Chiquita
why
banana stickers.
That's why I get like previews on my videos.
Traveling to national parks and collecting national parks magnets and stuff. Yeah.
Whatever I do, that's what that week. That's what I'm going to talk
about.
I
think that's, you know, what a lot of YouTube channels, after a while, yes, the content is what brings the people in first. But after that, after a while, I think people come for your personality, for if they like you. There's a lot of YouTube channels that go off of that. I think they don't, you know, whatever you're talking about, more or less. I mean, there are some things like a lot of
there's some limits.
Yeah, if some booktubers cover poetry, for example, they always say those are the least watched videos that I have or whatever. But if it's a less popular kind of topic, but still, most people are still coming for the person themselves, I think, after they start to develop their persona. What about you, Larry? How has your channel changed at all?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, I used to do a lot more reviews, but people just don't watch reviews. You know, I mean, unless they're into that one book, they're probably not going to watch. I mean, I hate it because I always enjoyed making those videos, but if hardly anybody watches, it's a lot of effort, and it just, you know, it's.
You notice if they grow in time, if they get more views in time as more people catch up to that.
Yeah, for sure. I leave them up because. Yeah, like one of them that I was pretty proud of, it was Lord of the Flies, the graphic novel review. I was one of the first ones to show that book because it wasn't available in the U.S. for a long time, right? And it didn't get a big reaction at first, but it's starting to get a few thousand views now. But it took about a year or more. You know, it took a while. But
good for you.
So that's cool.
I think that, you know, review videos, that's a common complaint from YouTubers or booktubers or comic booktubers.
And I used to hold myself to a more rigid schedule. I was doing at least a video a week, and I've cut back. I don't do as many. And that's helped me enjoy it more, not to hold myself to such a rigid schedule. Yeah. I mean, I am still doing a top 10 every month, the first Tuesday of every month. So I held myself to that one. But it's fun to do, and I have time, you know, to try to make it really good and edit it down and, you know, and all that. But it's just once a month. So
do you think that that's more easily done because you built your audience to a certain extent, and so now that if you don't post as often, they'll come anyway, they'll come for sure, even if it's a less regular schedule?
You know, I wish I could say I had some insight into that, but the YouTube algorithm is such a mysterious thing, and all these people pretend like they have cracked the code, and they have not. they're just trying to get clicks by telling you they cracked the code, and that code is not crackable. I don't think. You know, it's I mean,
I think the whole thing about being consistent is probably useful advice.
I think that's kind of true.
Beginning, I think, but I've noticed with channels like you or Nick at the Book Graveyard or some other people who don't post, so they post often enough, but it's irregular. And so like sometimes it'll be a couple of videos at once or, you know, over a weekend and then nothing for a couple of weeks, but they get, you know, good views because they have an audience they've built up. So the audience will find them. And
I think I finally dialed in the look and feel of how I want everything to look, and the set as it is, which is just this room, you know. And I had experimented with different versions of it. And when I first started out, it was literally in my garage, not to copy David, but I was doing unboxings in my garage, literally. The car was right there. And so I think I've dialed everything in how I want it, and it's comfortable now, you know. And I hope that shows that people like it because, you know, I have it set up now where I can do it without having to tear it down and rearrange it all the time. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You had for a while there. You had like a black background, like you were coming out of the shadows to show something.
Yeah, I had a big piece of black fabric, and I've since moved out of that room, and that room is actually slowly changing into my granddaughter's kind of guest room. You know, so I had to get out of there. You know,
Nice.
I like your new background now. I think it's
thanks.
You know.
Well, it's real. It's the library, so you know.
Well, I guess for me, I can't think I've changed too much because it's only been not quite a year, but I think I've adding some comic book material and videos has been a change, has been a new addition.
Yeah.
And collaborating with people more, either with live streams like this or doing, recently I've been doing some reviews with other booktubers, and that's been something that I didn't really expect to be a possibility so much when I started off. So I mean, I didn't, you know, when you start off, you don't really, I don't know if anyone has a real vision for what they're going to do. I wanted to get into the booktube community and meet friends and cool people like you guys, but I didn't expect it to quite take off like it has. So that way, I mean, so that's probably the biggest change, I guess. Because I tried to edit a bit from the get-go, and I've added more. I've added an intro, and I've added, probably about, I think when I first met you guys, maybe 5 months ago, I started adding and putting a little intro together and music at the end and a few things like that. But inspired by some other channels. But I think overall my channel hasn't changed a whole lot yet. I don't expect it to in the future. All right, well, let's talk about number 2 then. This one's maybe the most difficult for all of us, especially someone like David who has thousands and thousands of videos probably. But
was that an insult?
No, but actually the question narrows it down to this last year, so that'll be a little helpful. What are 3 of, I guess, for the first part of the question. The second question is in your whole life of your channel, I think. But question number 2, what are 3 of your favorite videos you've made in the past year, and why are they your favorites? And what video in the entire life of your channel are you the most proud of? Larry, you want to take this one first?
Go.
Okay. As far as the life of the channel, it's hard to say because, you know, certain things I have memories of doing them and of the subject, but not necessarily the video, if that makes any sense. But I think I'll do the past year first. The past year, I would say I did one called The Marvelous Worlds of David Anthony Kraft. And it wasn't a blockbuster or anything. I mean, I don't think it's broken even in 1K yet. And I really loved it because I was talking about a writer that I don't think had been covered much on YouTube. You hardly ever hear anybody mention David Anthony Kraft. And it just, I thought it needed to be talked about. And I even had some good comments. I had one from who said it was her stepfather. And then yesterday somebody commented to it and said it was their dad. Now, I don't know if someone's pulling my leg on that because that seems kind of wild, but you know,
well, you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
So that's one really of the ones that you're one of your favorites from the last year. Yeah, and
my favorite comics of 1970, that was a pretty recent one. That one's done really well, and you know, and I'm pretty proud of how that one turned out. So that was good.
I like those.
And then
by the year.
And I mentioned that Lord of the Flies graphic novel review, and that was last year, but it was about within a 12-month period here, so I'm pretty pleased with that one. But
how about overall, Larry?
What's that?
How about overall, your whole channel?
Overall, I got it down to 2. I kind of cheated because
fine. You can do 2.
I'm going to give you 2. The Hobbit Connection video, which is also my Tolkien tour. That one's kind of long, but I think I covered everything I could think of Tolkien related and why I love it so much. And I got kind of personal in that, and I think it turned out good, and I'm really proud of that one.
Is that the one where you come out of the cornfield in your Hobbit costume?
Yeah, I used that clip, which was something that it was the first video I ever shot. And I wasn't ever going to use it because it's so ridiculous, but it seemed to fit there, so I used it. And then I did an AMA style video, Ask Me Anything, and I think it was 23. And that one, that was the one that didn't get huge views, but it meant a lot to me because I went into a lot of personal stuff, and I liked how the reception I did get was really great, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah, sometimes it's not so much. Most of the time, it's not so much the views as it is the response, the comments, and people sending you questions. That must have been really cool.
Yeah, it was. That was great.
Just to get into before we get to David, just to get into some of the comments, Ariane, sorry, mentioned Ariane. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, Ariane. I probably messed that up. I love the collaborations because they introduced me to new channels. Yeah, that's very cool. And Jeff is easing right into comic stuff. Very cool. Thank you, Jack. Yeah, I'm slowly getting in there. Thanks to these guys, mostly these guys and Sleepy Reader. So
peer pressure.
And peer pressure. And as David says, we're going to do some more. We're going to do some. We did a joint review of DC: The New Frontier, which was a lot of fun on David's channel, and we'll probably do. What are we thinking of next?
Look at that avatar. Look at David's avatar there. Very suave.
Yeah, how suave. Yeah, suave and young and stylish, like he's heading out to the clubs.
Where did that guy go?
I don't know what happened to his hair.
I know what happened to that guy. So wait, is it my turn?
Yeah, graphic novel. Yeah, Larry is the graphic novel hall guru. He brings out those massive boxes from in-stock trades. Yeah, you do a lot too, David. That's for sure. Yeah, but I don't think you haven't got huge omnis for a while. I don't think, right? You usually are doing more of the trades
whenever possible. I don't mind them. It's just they take up a lot of space, and
they seem really cool. But yeah, when Larry was showing his Conan ones, he was going to get rid of Savage Sword of Conan ones. Some of those were, they were as big as my Bava book, which is something else.
They're huge.
They're huge.
All right, so 3.
I think, all right, David, so it's your turn. How about you?
I started scrolling frantically through my queue. So one that I'm proud of this year is there's a couple. It was during the time with the, what are they called? Not Dells. Are they? What are those? DAWs.
The DAWs.
I forget. I did
it right, David. Get it right.
I don't care about the names. You know that. So I started doing a couple of those videos, and then I showed my favorite hardcover science fiction. And I think that
the covers one. Yeah.
That brought more people to my channel. And all I did was jump on a thread, right, that was going around. So I like those videos a lot because it got me into other people's channels. Another one that I really liked was I actually did 2 videos. One where I think it was a Dr. Solar, and I showed the whole comic and I made funny voices. And that one took me forever to do. And I was waiting to see how. I'm proud of it. I thought I did a really great job on it.
You did. That's really a really good video.
And I was waiting to see if it would be a good video because I put in so much time. And I said, well, if I'm going to do another one, then it's got to be worth the effort that I put into it, right? For views. And, I didn't get that many views. So I'm glad that I made it because I usually want to try something new anyway. And that will lead me into my third one, which is, I think it was my third one. So I recently I tried out AI, and I know this is really controversial. But I tried out.
You used it was very good though, David, I think.
Yeah, I was really curious about the tech. It's not something that I'm always going to do. So whenever there's something new, I just want to try it out once, and then I usually abandon it. I just want to see how it works. And so I put all of these AI images into a video, and I already had images from the comics, and I thought the images that they came up with were so cool, and I just thought it really enhanced the video. And so I had like that, and even the comic book, like within the images, they would have like explanations of the comic. I thought it was really cool. We really do have to watch out for AI because it's gonna take over. Like
especially as teachers, it's a death knell in some ways, probably.
But
how about in the whole life of your channel? Which one are you thinking?
That one's easy for me. That one's really, really easy because I think early on there was a vinyl channel, and he asked us to bring our spouses, and so I had
Frank on
join, And he was so nervous, and we were sitting there going back and forth. And even one part of the video, I surprised him because he like broke one of my Funkos, and I showed it to him on camera, and he was like I confronted him about it. But it was a really fun video to do for both of us to be together. And if
he enjoyed it too.
I loved it. And
did he enjoy it?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, good.
But you can.
I can't get my wife to come on camera. I can't.
Yeah, mine wouldn't do it either, probably.
He, in fact, the guy kept asking me because I told him, yeah, we're doing it. But Frank kept putting it off. He didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it. And finally, I made him. He was so nervous. Like, if you watch the first minute and a half, he's so nervous just sitting there. You can kind of, he's like this, shaking. But he kind of,
to the side.
He got into it. So it was, he was happy that he did it in the end. And I think it's actually one of my best videos, I think.
I haven't seen that one, so I'll go looking for it. What's the title of it?
No, I don't think I've seen it either.
Send me a link later. Send us a link later. I want to watch it.
It's I think I called it spousal abuse. I think. Something like that.
That's fun.
Well, I guess for me, some of my favorites, the Worst Things Waiting collaboration I just did with Nick and Chris, covering 5 stories from that. That came out really well. All of my collabs and my live streams have been really fun, but my Manly Wade Wellman shelf tour, I'm really pleased with that, because Nick was from the Book Graveyard was talking about Wellman before me for sure, but I really wanted to. That's one of my favorite authors. He is Wellman, and I wanted to show off and get some attention, and he's getting a bit more attention now, which I'm not going to take credit for sure, but I am happy to see. And one that I wasn't convinced how well it turned out, but it's been my most successful video so far, and that is my covering of the Aubrey and Matron Patrick O'Brien set from HarperCollins up there. So that's if anyone's seen the Master and Commander with Russell Crowe and Paul Bettany, that's based off of 2 of the books in that series. It's a great nautical adventure historical series. And that one, speaking of a grower, Larry, that one did okay to begin with, but it's rapidly climbed up to having being my most watched video so far. Although the Worst Things Waiting one that I did, because of what I call the Chris effect, Liminal Spaces has 37,000 subscribers or whatever. So him doing a collaboration with this new collaboration kind of video thing that YouTube's come up with, which is really cool. That really spiked that one. So that might have
where it shows it from 2 different channels at once.
Yeah, or 3. It was 3 in this case. Yeah. Also, Nick from the Book Graveyard has a lot of fans too. So they, I got some quite a few new subscribers from that, and that was great. But also, I just was really pleased because Chris had never read Wellman before, and he really enjoyed the story. So that was really gratifying. The one I'm probably most proud of would be the ones I've been doing for the grand dames of detective fiction. I started with Agatha Christie, and then Marjorie Allingham, and then recently Dorothy L. Sayers. So the Christie ones, again, they don't do huge numbers because mystery fiction doesn't seem to be super popular on BookTube, but at least classic golden age stuff. But I've gotten really good responses on those, so I'm pretty proud of those. I think they came out pretty well. So. Okay, we have a few comments before we get to the next question. Jack Yo says, I found David through Sleepy Reader. That's a good enough endorsement for me. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Sleepy is awesome, as David says. Yeah. And Larry says, yes, he is. You guys are active in the chat. I guess that's why while I'm jabbering away, you guys are chatting away in there. Yeah. Yeah, Sleepy does a great job for sure. Okay.
Faces went like this when he went from you to me.
I tell you one thing about Sleepy and David and Jeff, all of you, is you're very authentic, and that's one thing I look for in YouTube. And I just can't stand it if someone seems fake. I just
fake.
Are you pointing at Larry? He's not fake. No, Larry is. Oh, that's Larry. You just see, and David both. You seem so personable, right? Like we're sitting down to have a little coffee chat with you guys or something. And I think that's what is the appeal which is why YouTube is kind of anti-AI in a lot of ways, because they can tell their viewers are looking for real kind of connection or real kind of people. So, so yeah, trying to be ourselves. We'll talk about that with part of BookTube advice later, maybe for new booktubers. But the third question is, what's your most popular video by views, I guess, and why do you think it got so many views? So, David, you want to start with that one? I know you had one short that exploded, right? Is that the one?
I basically have like my short views, like my regular videos don't touch my shorts, and I hardly ever do shorts.
You don't touch your shorts?
They don't touch my shorts. So I went into Hell's Kitchen in Las Vegas and I filmed the silliest video walking down the hallway because I saw like Gordon Ramsay at right near the bathroom. He's got this giant portrait of himself, and I thought it was hilarious that he was right next to the bathroom. And so I walked down the hallway and I filmed it, and I put that ominous music at the end, like dun dun dun, and that's his picture.
That makes me want to watch it, because I don't watch shorts because I just hate vertical video, but I should watch it just for you.
It's silly because even you can tell I didn't even edit it properly. Like it goes off at the end. It's all.
How many views did it get, David? Because it got massive amounts.
I don't know, but it just kept going up and up and up.
I mean, it was huge. Because when I first discovered your channel, because I discovered both of you guys through the Show Us Your DAWs thread,
right.
And you both jumped in that, which was so cool, and I'm really glad I got to know you that way. But I started investigating some of your back catalog, and I saw this. Wow, David's shorts, that one did, and even had a video about how well that did too. I think you did.
If you are really serious about YouTube, then you should not ignore shorts.
Yeah, I hate them too, though. I'm like
Larry.
I
don't like them, but I was trying them for a while just to see what they were like. And reason, I'll tell you the reason I stopped is because I would make clips of videos from movies and like funny.
Yeah, clips. I remember you saying that.
And then they kept getting like flags.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I'm like, but everybody does it. I don't get it. Why? Like
your regular videos, though, isn't it the one of the Bandmade? Is that your big one?
Oh, that is a huge one.
Bandmade? What's this?
That's a Japanese female heavy metal group that I met through heavy metal YouTuber, right? And so he was like, hey, I think he challenged me to listen to it. So I listened to it. And then that video went stratosphere. I was like, that band has so many rabid fans, like rabid. Like, wow. You say one bad thing about them, oh my, you're in trouble.
Did you say bad things? Is that why it went through the roof? Or did you?
I was active. I mean, like, you could tell in the comments, like, you do not want it. Like, these are the people that are going to find where you live and cut you up if you say anything wrong. Like, these people are like diehard band. And you've never heard of Bandmade? Because they're a Japanese.
I've heard of Shonen Knife, but that's a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, that one's a lot. Yeah, but no,
oyster, poisoning. Yeah. Anyway,
no, but Bandmade, they're actually really, really good. They're really good, but I mean, it was just like that's a crazy
interesting
video. Like, it doesn't really represent the things that go viral. Don't even represent me, really.
Well, that's what I've noticed with like some other channels. They do a rant video, or they do something that just happens to take off. They get a lot of subscribers, but do those subscribers come back to regularly watch? I know even
they don't. No, I get an average of 40 views if I'm lucky on my videos, and I've got like
you get a core group, right? And that's I think you're at 1.3 or almost, aren't you?
I know, but I get like 40 views a video. It's just like, but I have over.
Sometimes you get 90, sometimes you get 150.
It's very rare, very rare. Anyways,
well, I think Larry gets quite a few views, but we get our regular people watching. But then I even someone like Michael Kayvon or Chris from Limo Spaces, who I mentioned before, who has almost 37,000 or whatever. But he says that he has a lot of subscribers, but he probably less than a couple thousand even chime in regularly. So just a fraction of his. Because I mean, that sounds like a lot, but this is a lot to me. But if you think about it proportionally, what is that? That's like less than a tenth of his subscribers. So, and I'm sure some subscribers don't check out certain videos they're not interested in. So it just Anyway, I'll have to check out the band. Is it Band Mate? You said
Made, like dressed like
Band
kids.
Made. Oh, of course, like Made Cafe Made. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
where they get it. They get it from there's something in Japan where
yeah.
they
Made
serve you.
Cafe. Yeah. This is funny. Glock Mark says, I don't think you have regular people watching. Yeah, I suppose that is true. If they're reading books, they're probably not regular or reading comics.
That's true.
So, Larry, how about you? What's your most popular by views?
It's my most popular by views. I don't even think it's anywhere near my best video. I mean, not even close.
It often isn't. It's funny, yeah.
Yeah, it's my top 10 favorite horror comics.
Oh.
And it's like maybe 3 years old, but it's got like 17,000 views, and it's still in my top 10 every month when I look at my stats. You know, it just keeps going, you know. And I guess it's just because horror is so popular, you know.
Yeah, horror pulls
because
them in.
I don't think it's, I mean, I think the videos I'm making now are 10, 20, 30 times better than that thing. You know? It's you just can't.
Yeah, like you say, you can't predict the algorithm. You can't predict what's going to be popular sometimes.
Yeah,
right?
you cannot. I mean,
and that's why you shouldn't try to be popular or make videos that you think will get a lot of views, because you're in a hiding to nothing. Then you need to make.
Yeah, I mean,
about.
I'm grateful, but you know, I think I do much better now. You know, so.
Yeah. And David's obviously his most popular short is not something you do much of now. So, you know, it's just.
You can't replicate that. It was accidental. It was a travel video. It's like, it's not something I can replicate. And so I can't chase that. And I
think you shouldn't chase it. Yeah.
But if you're going for views or money or something like that, that's what you have to think about. And you have to see if you can keep that going. And for me,
that's why I'm glad I'm not doing this for money. Obviously, you know, in the booktube community and probably even in the comics, maybe in comics community has more options for making money. I don't know. But booktube, I don't think there's much money there. Even someone like Jules Burt, who's pushing up on, 100K now. He's like triple his audience. He needs to have his members only content to make, to cover his costs and stuff.
If I could make enough just to cover my book habit, I would be so happy, if I could just do that. And
that's what I would like to do.
Maybe it'll happen. I hope.
You haven't got there yet, Larry?
No.
He needs a sponsor, and that will do it.
In Stock Trade should be sponsoring you, both of you guys. Really?
But I've been.
I wish they would, but the way I understand, I've reached out to them a couple times, and they don't need any more sponsors. They have a couple, and they're so huge in that space that. Yeah. I don't think it's gonna happen.
If I ever thought about, something about making money, the only thing I would ever want to do is just have enough to keep my book habit going. That's all.
Yeah.
So
I think that would be awesome.
All right. Okay, we have some comments before. Let's see. We get what
They're
else?
Saying you summoned up one of these guys.
Yeah, I got Eternal reading. Eternal, please remind me of your name. I don't think I've got your name yet, but I believe he's Scottish. He's got a really cool channel. It's pretty new, I think. We got Jim from Mystery and Mayhem. Hey, Jim. Hey, guys, drop in to say hi. I hope all is well. Yep, same to you, Jim. I think we're all doing pretty well. If anyone doesn't know Jim's channel, it's awesome. You should check it out. He's got the best voice on BookTube or YouTube, probably.
Oh, really?
He's got an awesome voice. Nice. Having fun. Yep. And oops. Where am I at? I'm all over the place here.
You're the tyrant of YouTube, they're calling you.
I'm a tyrant, did you say?
Well, yeah, that too, but a siren.
Oh, siren. I don't think you have a regular people watching. Okay, I went too far back. Okay, here we go. This is Greg.
Basically, I can sum it up for you. They're saying that you conjured up the mystery guy. As soon as you said nobody reads or listens to mystery.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think Jim likes Golden Age detective fiction like Christie and stuff, but he covers a lot more of the kind of hard-boiled private eye stuff, and he's an expert on that for sure. I've been summoned. Yeah, I guess you've been summoned. And then we have Donald Rex. Hi, Donald. How you doing? Good to see you. And let's see. Summoned, conjured, manifested. Jeff called out across the ether, and you appeared, Jim. Yeah. Be yourself, and the ones who stick around are your audience. Exactly. That's the best advice I think you could ever hope to give anyone. Jeff's like that. He's the siren of BookTube. Thanks. Yeah. Scylla Charybdis right here, I guess. Let's see. What do we got? I would start a channel, but I have a face for radio and a voice for print. Oh, come on now.
That doesn't matter, actually.
Yeah. Trust me. That does not matter.
That's the first thing I had to get past was being able to tolerate hearing my own voice. And I mean, that was rough at first for a long time.
Yeah, we're all hardest on ourselves, I think, you know.
I don't care now.
Austin, thank you. Austin for Ireland. I'm sorry. I did a severe sin and said you were Scottish, maybe. Oh, sorry, Austin. Ireland, North Ireland. Okay, I've been to North Ireland. It's nice. Ireland is wonderful. Yeah, it's been a while, but it's really nice. Yeah, it's you know, you can't think about that. I think most people get wrapped up in appearance and how they sound and stuff. And,
well,
you know,
if you edit your videos, and I have to, because my on-screen talent is terrible, so I have to do a lot of editing. You know,
it's very slick, though. I never noticed that you edit, Larry. It seems really.
Yeah. I mean, well, I have like coughing fits, and I'll misspeak, or I'll sneeze, or I mean, you know, there's a lot of stuff that happens. I'll cuss, you know.
Well, I leave that in, but for me,
but I was going to say, if you do edit a lot, though, you're either going to quit in disgust because you can't stand to look at your own face and hear your voice, or eventually you'll be okay with it. And that's what happened to me. I eventually became okay with my own face and voice. It took a long time, but.
Well, I had a little bit of help from me. I know a lot of people have difficulty talking to the camera, but I think I've mentioned this before on some other lives I've been on. But during the COVID time here in Japan, it wasn't quite a heavy lockdown like you had in the States or in Europe, but we had to do a lot of stuff on demand and on Zoom and things. And I recorded probably 300 videos from my classes, from my university classes. And they would have a webcam, a kind of big one with speakers on the side. And I'd set it up about where a student would be sitting and talk to it. And I got comfortable enough with that it helped me with this. Cool. I was a little rusty when I got back into this, when I started this. But yeah, my most popular video for a long time, again, we have to use the word popularity in quotation fingers, because my highest viewed is like 1,050 or something. But it was my introduction, my kind of self-introduction I did. It was my third video. And I think partly why it was so popular is it was short. So people were, and also they could get to know me a little bit. It was talking about my situation.
No, it was short. That's why.
That's probably why. But surprisingly, some of the longer ones have overtaken it now, though. So the one that this Aubrian Matron, Patrick O'Brien Bookshelf Treasures video has now passed it. So, and I bet the one
sometimes they just take a while, you know, sometimes they take a little time. Yeah.
And the one that the collaboration on Worst Things Waiting I did with Chris and Nick has within like 2 weeks is already third and will probably be the top before too long. And again, that's the more popular booktuber effect thing. And those guys were really nice to come in and collaborate with me. So, but I found that for the type of video that seems to have been the most successful for me has been bookshelf tours, showing off stuff on my shelf, and less reviews, of course. So,
people love a tour, that's for sure.
Yeah, you know, if I pick like my Robert E. Howard collection, or my Manly Wade Wellman collection, or my Dawes, show us your Dawes was a popular video, things like that. We have Erico here. Hello, Erico. Haven't seen you for a while. Just a watcher. That's nothing wrong with being a watcher. My mirror quit in disgust. People think I'm a vampire now. No reflection. I think you're being too hard on yourself there. We have Donald saying, I misspeak all the time, but no one seems to care. I don't think that's true, Donald. I think you do a good job.
I thought he just had rocks in his mouth.
Well, I think, you know, some people, some YouTubers and booktubers and comic booktubers, they don't show their face so much. And Donald's one of those. Some on live streams he does, but he just shows off his comics. And some people like doing that, but I like seeing people's faces. So I want to see your face more, Donald. Put your face on your camera there more often. I think it's, you know, I think that adds the personal touch. Anyway, I don't want us to run too long here, so let's get on the next one. Question 4. We'll start with you, Larry. How do you come up with ideas for making videos?
Yeah, sometimes it's really hard. It helps to have a series, that like, I'm glad that my year top 10s are doing well because that's a lot of material. I mean, I'm going to do all 10 years of
1970s, right?
Huh?
You started with the 80s and now you're on the 70s, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to do every year of 1970. So it's going to take, most of the year, so that's one way. And sometimes I'll still do a review if it's a book I'm just so excited about that I love so much, or that I think is so unusual that I have to show it. And sometimes that just kind of, it happens and you don't have to think about it. That's it. That's what I'm going to do, But other times it's hard, because some things I think are going to be great. Nobody cares. It's like,
yeah, you have to do it for yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's a good point, Austin. Yeah, just a lot of people, warts and all, doesn't bother a lot of people, I don't think.
Well, I don't edit everything out, but I mean, I do. I feel like I'm not that other people that don't edit are doing this. I'm not accusing anybody of that. I feel like I need to be careful of people's time. I'd like them to watch the whole video, and I don't need them to wait while I cough or, while I look something up or, so I could just cut that stuff out and I enjoy the editing process. So that helps.
Yeah.
I like to do it.
I find myself, making flubs, and some flubs I'll leave in just because I think some warts and all is good. But if it's really
sometimes
stupid,
it's funny,
or if I make a really dumb mistake, I'll cut that out around. I like what Mark had to say here. I'm fortunate to be really good looking and have no problem seeing myself on camera. Just lucky, I guess. Yeah. You're lucky. That way, you're lucky. Yeah. And David says it's better not to edit. And let's see what Greg says. My video with the highest views is a shelf tour showing off my Robert Louis Stevenson collection. Yeah, Greg, that was an awesome video too. And Greg is just very calm and measured and probably makes a lot fewer mistakes because of his approach. I'm a kind of like a little Yorkshire Terrier, and so I'm making lots of mistakes.
I'm getting better gradually, but I still have to, have to do some cuts.
Well, some people can do it better than others, and I'm not one that seems to be able to do it without a lot of mistakes, so I have to edit. David, how about you? Where do you come up with company? Yeah, about making videos and your ideas, coming up with ideas.
Oh, I just it's whatever I feel like doing that day. I'm very spontaneous. Like if I get something in the mail, I'll just like jump in front of the camera and say, "Hey, look what I got." But I also have and those things I edit the heck out of for the most part. But then I have my Friday show, which I don't edit at all. So you can see both. Like if you want to see how I naturally
get the full spectrum.
Yeah, and I noticed, for example, I say and continuously. And
David,
so mine's like I hate it. Sorry, Larry.
Your Friday shows are usually my Saturday breakfast because I sit in front of the computer, I got my oatmeal or whatever I'm eating, and I put on Garage Geek, and
that's usually my lunch when I'm working on a Saturday, my lunchtime viewing. If David gets it out on Friday, which is not always the case.
It's really, and that's true also. But then for some reason, I have difficulty uploading. So when my Friday videos are usually about
you're using your phone. Don't use your phone. Use a PC or your Apple.
Good, but it's so easy to record on the phone. And then it just
recording, but just can't you just move it over and load it from the PC, from your Apple, from your Mac?
I guess, but then it's almost the same. I have to like port it over, and for some reason, it just takes a while to do all that stuff.
Is that because you have an older phone? Do you think?
No, it's a newer one. I do not know why that happened.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes you're telling me, it's taking hours to load, and I'm like, what's going on?
Sometimes I'll wake up.
It's another YouTube mystery.
And it hasn't done anything. And you know what I find works? This is driving me nuts. They've got us because when I start watching videos while I upload, it uploads. But if I stop watching videos, it will stop. And so I think that's another algorithmic thing.
That's sneaky.
I think they do that actually.
See, I upload my videos and then I schedule them out. And so it's because I shoot everything at 4K. And by the time my stuff goes up, 4K is done processing. So I don't have that effect where you get a crappy version at first. I guess I'm picky,
Mark is saying sometimes my Friday videos don't upload till Sunday.
Sometimes.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, and I like what now Seth mentioned that, because Seth is very funny, but Seth, the problem is maybe your humor is so dry that you in deadpan that you have to, you have to get that timing right, I guess. Yeah, sometimes they don't show up until Sunday. Yeah, it's a Sunday night chat. Sometimes they're not recorded until Sunday, Mark.
I know, right?
The Noir Wolf, hello.
Hey, Noir Wolf.
To me, I don't know this person. They maybe came because are they one of your watchers, Larry or David?
Yeah,
welcome.
Yeah, he been around a while. Yeah.
Nice. Very, very welcome. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate that. Well, in my case, I think what helps is I have some of my own ideas. Sometimes I just look at my shelf and figure out what's something I haven't shown yet that I could make a video of or a flip through of. And a lot of stuff does come from these booktuber events. A lot of them are fun to join in on, and they give me, I'm not planning to do one. When I first started, I did something every week, like the Horror Mayhem, and some of those did well, and some of those not so well. I think that you can get burned out that way, so I just kind of maybe do one thing that fits a particular event. When I have a chance to get a book call, that's great, or something. So yeah, those I haven't had. My wife was skeptical when I started this. She said, you're going to run out of ideas. You better slow down. I'm like, I won't run out of ideas. Don't worry about it. And I haven't yet. So that's good.
I really enjoyed the videos you've done where you show inside stores and on the street and things like that,
Yeah, I try. I'm not very good at doing those because I'm not good at holding a camera. I should have my wife around to do that. But thanks. I try to do that more.
I really enjoyed those. I think I'm going to buy myself a gimbal before I do another room tour, because I think it'll really help to stabilize, because I use my phone for that. I don't use this camera.
Yeah.
And
well, I don't have an
have
actual camera for filming videos. I just use my phone to record my videos, and it's an old Google Pixel 4a or something. It's we're up to Google Pixel 10 now, so I'm way behind. I should get a new phone probably, but the camera is pretty good.
I think this is an 8.
It's okay. But yeah, I think a gimbal is a good idea, and I'll need to do that too, so that it stays more steady. Because that's my problem. I don't want to give people motion sickness from my paranormal activity camera work or anything. But okay, what do we see here? We got I need to do a show where I interview my 94-year-old mother. She is a wealth of book knowledge. That would be cool.
Wow. Yeah.
My grandma was like that too. She was a lifetime reader. And yeah, David says, Glock, that would be cool. That would be cool. And then
it would be cool.
Austin says, does being a booktuber change your reading? Yes, I think so. That's a good question. That's not one of the 10, but that's a good one. It's made me read more because you need material for that. And that's good. It's a good motivator. What do you guys think?
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep, it totally does.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get to. We were kind of talking about equipment, so it's a good segue. Nice job, Larry. Number 5. What equipment do you use to record videos? What has been the most useful piece of equipment or software that you use? iPhone.
Yeah.
I don't have an iPhone, but yeah, I guess without the phone, I wouldn't be able to do it. But I use CapCut for editing, and I've gotten pretty comfortable with that. Probably the nicest thing is, at least for live streams for me, is this external HD webcam. StreamYard, if a free account, only lets you do 720p, but it's so much better than the one on my webcam built into my computer that it's not even funny. So that's, and of course my tripod. I have very little equipment. How about you, David? What, your phone? Anything else?
I use my phone, and I initially started with iMovie. And you know what? To be honest with you, iMovie is good enough. But I wanted to try something new, and so I got LumaFusion. And for the price, I think you pay $15, and it's a lifetime.
That's editing software, David?
Yep. And it's really, really cool. So I use that. I have a little attachment that I can, hook my phone to and, rotate it or whatever. And that's basically it. Now to film my puzzles though, I had to get a whole like kind of rig thing, and that's something else. But for those,
is that one of the ones like the clamps on the table and you kind of lift it over?
I had that initially, but
I have one of those too. Yeah,
I have it. I'm using a speaker stand because I have karaoke speakers, and then I attached an arm to that, and it hangs over my puzzle table. So just those kind of things that I use.
Some gimbals. Yeah, that's great. Store. Yeah. Austin says reading for your audience. That's partly it. I think it's reading for yourself, but too. But yes, the motivation is first to have material for your audience. I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Isn't Gimbals a department store? Good one. Yeah. I'm looking to buy a new desktop PC. I hope you don't mind answering what is a good mix to use because I don't like the sound of my videos. Well, a microphone would probably be the best deal for an external mic for your sound.
I don't think you need it if you have an iPhone.
It's pretty good with the iPhone. Yeah,
like the iPhone is so amazing with what it could do. Like you do not have to spend extra. It's all right in the phone. And the microphone on this thing is wonderful. Now I know
good.
Larry's rolling his eyes right now, but
I'll admit it's good.
Fine.
But if you don't want to get into the Apple ecosystem, then
hey Steve,
you got to do something else.
Oh well,
yeah, and I'm not a big fan. I mean, I have an iPod, but I don't really want to do an Apple myself. But I think the equivalent, like what's the big Samsung model that's so popular now? The Galaxy, is it? Galaxy. Yeah, I think they probably have equivalent,
of course,
quality camera in sound. So yeah, a good phone would probably be enough. But I think Larry, you use a camera, not your phone for recording, right?
Well, for my anytime you see B-roll, like where you shoot an overhead shot, or if it's outside or something, which I don't do that much. It's with this phone. It's a Pixel 8 Pro, and usually my wife is actually my camera person because I'm actually the one sitting there flipping the pages. So, but as far as my sit-down videos, my regular videos, I've got I can't show it to you because I'm using it, but I got the box. So, so I got this camera. This is Sony's EVE-10. It's a mirrorless. And then I got this lens, which was more than the camera, about as much as the camera. This is
it's just too much.
It's a lot. I kind of went overboard, but I went through so many things before I got to this point, and I wish I had just known what to get to begin with. I would have wasted a lot less money, And
I think getting that nice equipment is nice, but I don't think you have to have it to start.
You don't have to, but I'm a tech guy.
Yeah, and so if you want it, that's a different story, and you can afford it.
I gravitate toward technology, and I build my own computers and things like that. So, it was inevitable that I would go this route. But
I think
I'm glad
for most people, the phone would be good enough, but the mic, having a good mic, is really important.
Well,
I think
I've went through so many mics, and I finally just arrived at this one. It isn't the highest quality, but it's good enough, and it's so much simplified my videos. And it's it's a Sony digital mic that fits on top of my camera. Larry. Okay, let me try it.
Work.
How's that? Better?
Yeah, it's better. Sony. Okay.
But this sits on top of the camera and gets its power from the camera. So I don't have to worry about batteries or charging and none of that crap. And it just it made everything so much better. And I think it sounds pretty good.
It does. So, yeah. I read a bunch of reviews. The mic I use when I'm recording from my phone and it has a plug-in in my phone is it Landmark A1 or 1A or something, and the reviews online were better than it's turned out to be, but it's not bad. It's nice and mobile. Samsung is coming out with the Universe, but I think it's too big. Okay. I've heard it's endless, Mark. Yeah. Thanks, guys. That's awesome. Thanks for the feedback. Yeah, I would say from what I've heard, Austin, of your videos, what I've watched so far, your sound quality is fine from your phone. And
yeah. The good news is everything is so much better now than it was even 10 years ago. You know that even the stuff built in to most of these phones is pretty good.
Yeah, I was using just my phone to start, and it sounded pretty good. I think then it would depend on, how echoey your room is, if you're outside or not, how close you are to your phone. But I recorded some of that when you were talking about, Larry, about me going around some of the mean streets of Osaka recording. I think the sound was pretty good off my phone, but
it's not bad at all.
Goodness, my holding the phone wasn't so good, but yeah, I think.
But to answer the question, software wise, I went through about 3 or 4 different programs for editing till I arrived at the one, and it's the one I've stuck with the longest. It's DaVinci Resolve.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people use that.
Yeah, and it's totally free, depending on what you want to do with it. I mean, and for YouTube, at least what I do with YouTube, I don't need to have the pay version. The free one does everything I need and way more than I'll probably ever know how to use. But the learning curve was a little bit steep. But once I finally figured out kind of halfway what I'm doing.
I think that's what's blocking me from trying DaVinci Resolve or OBS is I've gotten used to CapCut and how to use it now. And so when I look at something like DaVinci Resolve, I'm like, oh my God, that looks so complicated. But I'm sure I would get used to it, right? So
yeah, you would. And I'm glad I did it because, it's the industry standard. I mean, it's one of, there's a couple, but I mean, they've literally done, $1 billion blockbuster movies with it, so it's,
Yeah, well, and then talking about the iPhone again, people have made movies with iPhones, so
Yeah, they have. Yeah, totally.
Make that wormholes, right? Okay, good. All right. Well, I'm worried about keeping you guys too long, so let's go into number 6. Name 2 YouTubers that inspired you to start, or were helpful in getting you direction on how to start. David, what about you? Any YouTubers, or you just did it on your own without thinking about being influenced by anybody?
I kind of jumped in initially, and I really can't remember that far back, like who inspired me to actually start. I think I was just watching some people, and I was like, oh, I can do that. But then once I got started, people started helping me. Like they started inviting me on their shows, and there was a lot of the vinyl people who did that. And so I'm very thankful to those. For example, Rachel's Ghost. She promoted one of my videos on her show, and she was huge. And she's changed her channel a couple of times, but it was just those call outs and those people who were willing to like have me on, and especially in the vinyl community.
I owe most of my subscribers to, a big chunk of them anyway, to that kind of thing, the sharing and the calling out, and that I really appreciated that for sure. For me, it was Michael K. Vaughn and Criminali were 2 of the ones. I was watching guys like Jules Burt, but Jules Burt is much more of a, I guess I would say, professional type of guy. So, industry sort of guy. And so I didn't think I could be anything like him. He was doing such a great job, although he, of course, is a booktuber, I suppose. But Michael K. is mostly the content. Michael K. Vaughn and Criminali were both talking about stuff like Doc Savage, and Criminali would mention The Executioner and Robert E. Howard and Edgar Rice Burroughs and stuff, especially Michael K. Vaughn focusing on that. And I said, hey, I love that stuff. I could talk about that stuff too. Exactly. And then, of course, Nick at the Book Graveyard, his kind of calm, low-key and friendly and funny approach was a big influence as well. So I guess that's cheating by saying 3 there. But how about you, Larry? Any influence
so many.
You, or you jumped in the deep end of the pool on your own?
Yeah, I've been a YouTube fanatic since I guess around 2007, pretty early on. And so I still watch a lot of YouTube, too much probably, but the ones that influenced me and that kind of inspired me to want to just do it myself is probably the biggest one, or the 2 biggest ones I could think of is probably there's a tech channel called Painfully Honest Tech. Jason T. Lewis is the guy there, and I kind of became sort of, I won't say friends with him, but we've chatted a bunch, and he's helped me with a few things, and he's just more than anything, he's inspired me. Just watching his channel and seeing him get real personal sometimes. really helped. And yeah, so I really was inspired by him. And then my daughter, really, Kristen, she was doing the Comic Slayer channel. She doesn't do so much since she's had her baby. You know, she's more occupied, but she did YouTube for a long time. She was on a lot of the live shows with other people, you know, with like Jess on Omni Dog's Vault. She was a co-host with him for a long time, and she kind of helped encourage me to just do it myself, you know. And so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, that is great. Yes. Well, you know, I didn't even really know BookTube was the thing until a couple months before I started. I think it was basically at the start of last year. I was listening to some bookish podcasts, but they weren't really doing it for me. And then I discovered this BookTube thing. I was like, what is BookTube? Is this a separate thing to YouTube? And then I realized what it was and started watching it. And as Jim says here, the BookTube community is great, very welcoming and helpful. And that's very true. And I think, like David said, the vinyl community and the comics community, all these little niches, people are really supportive, which is for the most part, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Austin said, I had a comment saying, could I turn it up? So I thought maybe people are being nice and wouldn't tell me. Okay. Well, I think that everyone says the audio is more important than the video. And I think that's true. Yes.
See, it's recently YouTube brought out this feature. I forget what it's called, but it's like auto leveling, where they'll take a video that's really low, and if you have that on, it'll make it sound normal. And I actually kind of hate that, because sometimes someone will do something and they want the sound to go up and down, but with that on, you can't tell the range they actually wanted you to hear. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I turn it off. So I know when someone has their audio too low, because it's really low.
I think David makes a really good point there, where he says, you know, sometimes the phone has a default setting and you might have to go in and adjust it each time. And I think that's true. My PC sometimes does that.
My Mac, so the phone, but yeah.
Your Mac, sorry, not your phone. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I noticed that with my PC sometimes as well.
Yeah, mine's still a little low. I bump it up in post, but it's still lower than I want it to be. But I've never been satisfied with it, but it's getting there.
Yeah, the community aspect has been the absolute best side of this, and it's partly also what keeps me motivated to keep going and doing stuff. And I'm having a lot of fun, but it's just so cool to. I knew that before I went in. Everyone kept saying it, but it's been way beyond my expectations on that regard. Okay, let's talk about live streams real quick. What's the worst thing to happen to you during a live stream or when recording a video? For me, it's the sometimes connectivity problems I've encountered. I know Larry and I first did our booktuber chat, and it was a really rainy morning, and I was having a hell of a time that video. There was several that live stream. Larry carried it pretty well without me for minutes at a time, but it eventually evened out, and I've had a few problems like that. Occasionally, my son will burst open the door and interrupt, but if I have someone else, they know to carry the ball, which is David's really good at that. How about you guys? What's been the worst thing to happen? Either recording a video, which I guess you could have lost something you've recorded or had to do it several times over. I don't know. What do you think? I'll start with David. What's the worst thing that's happened during a live stream or a recording for you?
So the worst thing that happened to me was I invited someone that I didn't know. I was like, hey, I'd love to get to know you. I remember who it was. It was Dan's Comic Corner. Sweetest guy. I believe he's from Canada, and he's so nice. And I get ready to set it up, and it says, StreamYard, you've reached your limit. And I was oh my gosh, Dan, do you mind going on your channel and setting up the live stream right now? And he was like, okay, I don't mind. And so, everything just poured.
That was in the middle of the live?
Yep, I couldn't get it to go because it said, reach
man.
your limit. You cannot make another video.
You couldn't go in and burn anything out real quick? Okay.
No, it was supposed to go live. And
well, good thing you had an agreeable, kind, and polite Canadian as your guest there. He was willing to do that.
He was okay. How do the Canadians say it? He was okay. I don't know.
Okay, eh? Yeah, that would be a panic situation for sure. How about you, Larry?
Well, it was during a recording. It's been a couple different times, but this was the worst. Was where now I got a cat invasion. Sorry.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
this
cute.
is
It's all
this is
right. Nothing wrong
sunshine.
with the cat invasion. We had David's dog in the background. I think he left
They
though.
know they tunneled under the covers.
Look at the camera. She's not gonna look at the camera.
No, she's a cat. She's not going to cooperate.
Yeah, no. But anyway, I did like, it must have been a long video for me. It was probably 20 minutes long, and I nailed everything perfect. It was so great. And I started editing, and I got it all done. I mean, and I added a bunch of graphics in post. I mean, I done everything, completely done. And then I deleted the wrong file, lost all of it.
You couldn't get it
I mean,
back.
that is so crushing, man.
It is.
I was so bad.
And then you don't even want to even try to do it a second time after that.
You know, and at first I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it again. And I sat there for a while until I cooled off, and then I just repeated the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still some stuff I probably lost, you know, that I said better in the first cut. And I was like, well, it's gone. You know, I can't.
Was your dress rehearsal, Larry?
Do what?
It's your dress rehearsal.
Yeah, it was.
But especially when you had graphics and things you added, and those having to do that again is such a pain. Oh man,
yeah,
that's awful. Well, let's see. Next one, number 8. Have you had to deal with negative feedback or comments? How did you handle it? And I'll start off that one by just saying, no, I haven't really. I've had a couple of ones that I didn't quite understand, and I had one kind of racist comment, borderline racist comment that I never posted. I left it in my feed. I didn't post it. I removed it, but it wasn't racist against me or anything. It was just someone commenting on something I said and spinning it into a kind of racist thing. And I decided to, no, I'm not going to go there. So how about you, Larry? What's, have you got much in the way of, I can't imagine either of you guys getting negative.
I could think of two things. One, I had this guy that would, he sort of stalked me for a long time, and that he would always comment on my videos, usually my haul videos. And he would say that, oh, here's some more books you bought you're not going to read. And he just kept accusing me of not reading any of my books, which was so weird because back then I was doing a lot of reviews. And if you watch any of my reviews, you can tell I'm reading my books, right? You know, I mean, and yeah. And you know, and I didn't know what to say to this guy. I mean, I tried to argue with him, and that didn't help. But he just kept being really negative.
Can't feed the trolls. Can't feed the trolls.
Yeah. And so eventually, I figured out the secret. I mean, it's not much of a secret, but you guys probably know. David probably knows.
Ignore him.
Well, better than that, you use the feature called hide user from channel.
Yeah.
Oh.
And if you do that,
that means they think that they're commenting, but you're not, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they can still post, but no one sees their posts. But they don't know it. They see it.
Oh, I didn't
it's
know that.
Awesome.
Do you see it yourself?
That's what you're doing to mine.
No, not after you enable.
It's just constantly. It's just basically putting them on ignore, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So no one sees it, but the person posting.
I know you could do bans and channel bans and things, but I think that's the best thing there.
Yeah, that's the king of it. Now, and then but as far as like negative comments, other than that guy, I've only just rarely, occasionally somebody will make some kind of personal attack, like talk about my appearance or something.
Yeah, that's weird. People do that sometimes. It's very strange.
I don't. It actually hasn't happened to me much, but and usually when it's like that, when it's just purely there's no substance to it at all, other than hey, you're ugly or you look like this guy or sometimes I leave it, but sometimes I just delete it. If there's no value there, I just delete it.
Yeah. I had an early one where someone said, "How do you see the print, mate?" And then I thought that was a comment on my eyes because I have the kind of epicanthic folds, so I have very narrow slits of eyes. And I was wondering, is that a comment? I said, "Well, what do you mean by that?" And he just says, "Oh, about the small print." And this, he kind of backpedaled a bit. So either
you gotta be careful because sometimes you can read too much into stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, either he didn't mean anything bad initially, or he decided, oh, maybe that's beyond the pale, and I'm sorry, and backed off, and I haven't heard from that guy since. But how about you, David? I know you've had, because he can be controversial occasionally and confrontational occasionally sometimes. So hard as his believe.
One time, a guy, I'm not very professional. When I review something, I do a little bit of research, but I don't go into it. Like
the names,
especially with vinyl. Like those people are rabid. You have to know which drummer was on which session for which date, all that stupid stuff. And
Very
so what,
anal.
which, you know me, I could care less. So I just review stuff and I throw stuff out there. And one guy like ranted and he says, you need to be more intelligent. And so I used that for my ending phrase for like a year. I was like,
I remember that. That was awesome.
you need to be
That was
more
awesome.
intelligent. I was just like, that's silly. Come on. I'm like, I never said that I was a pro about these people.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you don't set yourself up as an expert, no one should call you out on not being and making mistakes, right?
Yeah, but other
Jake
times,
Mortem said that. He said, my viewers are so much more knowledgeable than me, and that's great. That's what I want. I'm here to learn.
You know, there's been a couple times where I totally botched a fact about a comic book, you know, and something I really knew, but I just botched it, you know.
Yeah,
like
when you're off the cuff, you forget stuff. Yeah.
Somebody, you know, corrected me, and you know what I did? I pinned that comment, and I said, you know what? You're totally right. I totally goofed that, and I pinned it so it would be right there because I'm like, I'm not going to pretend like I didn't screw this up, you know.
Yeah. No, I think if you own that and just say thanks, if people correct, and most of the time, if I'm corrected, it's pretty polite. So I'm like, hey, thanks for correcting.
And I have to say, I have been made fun of far less on YouTube than I ever have been in real life. I mean, seriously, I had such a horrible childhood, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
In school, because I was always much shorter than everybody in my class, you know.
Did you fight everyone? That's what I did. I was a scrappy little dude, and I was always fighting.
Ran away. I cussed them out and ran away. But you know, I had a hard time in school. It was horrible. It was a nightmare, quite frankly. And but YouTube has just been way better to me than that. You know, I got to say.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because so many people who were kind of weird or different or odd that were bullied in school, we end up doing pretty well later in life. And then a lot of the guys who were the high school quarterback dating the cheerleader, that's their glory days. And they never live up quite often they never live up to the rest of it. So, you know, we're all doing fine, guys. Yeah. I wasn't bullied too bad, but there were some bullying going on. I had short man syndrome, I'm sure, and was ready to fight if they tried to push me too much. But well, I think that's a good way to do it.
Jeff, are you saying you're short?
I guess
I'm 5'7", so
now I'm scared to meet him. He's too short.
Yeah, see, you're not that short. I'm 5'4".
Well, you know, you're a hobbit, like you said, though, Larry. So it's okay.
That's right.
You're tall for a hobbit, right? So no, I tell you, one of the guys I met, I had a friend who was about the same height as that, and he was a jock. He was on all of the sports teams in his school. He was a champion wrestler. If you wrestled that guy, even if you were twice his size, he would pin you quick. And he was one of the most able guys I've ever met. It didn't matter his height, but you know, it was funny. It was Mutt and Jeff for me because all of my best friends were, you know, 6 foot plus. So, you know, I was the little guy barking at their heels. You know, that old Warner Brothers cartoon, where we going, man? Where we going? And there's the big bulldog going, shut up. You know, anyway, that was kind of me, I suppose.
You guys see this baby?
Yeah.
See what?
His baby.
See this baby I got here?
Sleep in his arms.
Yeah. Yeah, sweet. There's a sweet little baby there. Let's see. Okay, now we got some. We had Chadwick checking in. Hey, Chad, saying that Pulp Island is has been called. You know, this corner of BookTube feels like my vibe, even though my own stuff is all over the place, kind of like my attention span. Yeah. No matter what you do, they're going to be haters, and I'm surprised on BookTube that there's so few haters, so few trolls, and that's great. Okay. Let's see. We have something from Brett. One viewer commented that Styx isn't the greatest American rock band. How dare they? How dare they? Yes, you and your daughter's Styx. Yeah. And 6'3", give or take. Yeah, Chadwick's tall for sure. I'm sure David's tall. I grew up in a Catholic school in the 70s. All we did was fight. I think the nuns put money on me once. Yeah, I've heard lots of stories about Catholic school. That's for sure. And especially Catholic school girls, but we won't go there. Okay, let's see. Number 9. Have you ever felt like quitting YouTube? What was your lowest point when you felt like giving up or burned out, I suppose? David?
Yeah, multiple times. It's just when you put your heart and soul into a video and then nobody watches it and you're just like, damn it, I'm done. It's like Like you really like you're passionate about something, and then you get very few views, and you're just like, that's kind of soul crushing. It's like I've got 1,000 people. Like, where are they? Why? Like, I'm trying something new, but then you gotta remember, like, hey, you're just this little bitty minnow in this giant pond, and you got to get over yourself, right?
Yeah, you got to get a perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I've only been on this doing this for a year, and since I've started, so many new booktubers have joined too. I mean, it is a massive pool, even just in this corner, right? So,
yep,
yeah, that would be that is disappointing. I understand that feeling for sure. Yeah, very much so. Larry, how about you? Have you ever felt about giving?
Yeah, I got to agree with David many times, and I think the most times was probably the first year or so. You know, when first year and a half, maybe the first 2 years, where I would see some people kind of in the same niche as me, mostly comic books, but other books, come in after me and then just soar right by me, you know. And I would be, you know, this petty jealousy that I had to get past, you know.
Yeah,
and
it's hard not to compare yourself sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. So. But
yeah, I see that. Usually when I see that, though, it's younger and more attractive women that are doing better than me. So, you know, that makes sense. Or younger guys who are, you know,
women, but definitely younger.
The younger part is gonna have an effect for sure. There was one female booktuber, I won't name her, but she's doing really well, and she's got a great channel. But you know, she was, I think after a month, she hit 1K. You know, I mean, and it happened, right? So some people just the algorithm clicks. I never thought of, you know, because I haven't done it nearly as long as you guys, so we'll see when I get there if I'm hopefully still around there. But I'm enjoying it so much, and I've had such a great community engagement that I haven't felt like that at all. I did have a stretch a few months ago where my videos were doing okay, so it wasn't that. I'm happy if something just gets to 100 views. I'm fine, and some good comments, but. I was watching the subscriber count a little too much, and it was it was when I hit the 600s, getting from 600 to 700 seemed to take forever. And now 700 is going pretty well. So, you know, it'd be 1 up, 2 down, couple up, 2 down. And then there'd be a week with nothing, and then a little,
It can be nerve-wracking. You'll hit a milestone, and then you check again an hour later, and you're back down below, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. No, it's definitely it's and there's been a couple of videos. I think Steve Donahue did one, and also the Literate Texan Randy Ray, and they said it's a sprint. YouTube is a sprint, is a marathon, not a sprint. Right. So you just got to keep plugging away, and eventually it'll work out, you know. So let's see. We have a couple of comments here. There's no haters on BookTube because we're all readers. Yeah, generally speaking, readers are going to be less likely to be haters.
It's been pretty good mostly. Yeah.
And then we have MC. Dang it, he told me his name too, and I forgot it. I'm so sorry. I got to go back and check on that. But I'm glad to see you back again. At 62 years old, I'm shrinking. I used to be 5'11". Now on a good day, I'm 5'10". Yeah, on a good day. Yeah, I used to be almost 5'8", so I'd go by 5'8". And then I can't in all consciousness say that now, you know, so I'll just say, okay, I'm 5'7". You're growing in other areas.
5'4", so you're lucky.
190 pounds now after losing 50 pounds. Good on you, man. That's a lot to lose. Good job. Yeah, good for you. I can't stop. My name is Eternal Reading. I'm here till I die. My videos will always be up, so I'm happy. I'm happy with 1 subscription. Yeah. Yeah, and I think, you know, like a lot of us, maybe, I don't know. Some people, if they're going into it the wrong way and they want to blow up and be huge, you know, BookTube or comic BookTube or even, you know, vinyl. It's not really a place to do that. But I went in thinking I'd be lucky to get, you know, to 100 and be happy with it. Right now, I just want to get to 1K because that's in the top 9. You're in the top 9% of all YouTube channels if you get over 1K. And I thought that's a cool number. I'll be happy if I get there.
Yeah, I was happy, and I stopped really looking anymore. I'm like, oh, I made it.
Good attitude.
Well, it's weird too because I know there are a couple of booktubers recently I think Chris, the speculative reader, puts out really good videos, and he got to 1K, and then all of a sudden, like a couple weeks later, he was 3K. And Randy Ray was 3K just a little while ago, and he's been doing it for like 4 years or something. And he was just getting ready to do his quick Q&A for 3K, and then he was gathering questions, and then he hit 4K, so now he has to do it again. So sometimes there's this kind of momentum, and then sometimes it's just a slow crawl. And I'm happy with the slow crawl as long as I get there eventually. I just want to. Yeah, exactly, because it's not going to go any other way. Yeah, that's for sure. Oh, well, I'm keeping you guys a little too late, but I have one more question, and I'll let you go. I know, Larry, you got probably stuff you got to do, but we may be like little minnows, but at least we aren't like the lost minnow on Gilligan's Island. Yep, that's true. Yeah, that's very true. The last question is, and the last one we just talked about, feeling like giving up or getting burned out will lead into this final question. And that is, what advice would you give to someone thinking of starting a channel? David, what's your advice for a new YouTuber or new booktuber?
I think we've been saying it throughout. You really have to get over your image, and you have to be like, I'm telling people all the time, they're saying, oh, I'm afraid to put my voice out there. There's so many YouTubers who will only show their hands. I'm like, just show your face. And then they do it, and they're like, oh yeah, it's not that bad. It's like, we really don't care what you look like. We're just happy to embrace new people in the community. And so I say, the uglier the better. Just put your face out there. We don't care. We're gonna watch you. We're gonna embrace you. Just do it, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, and I think the face thing is really important, because it to put a face on the voice and the face on the channel. Yeah. That people respond better to that. There are some channels that are voiceover only that do well, but I would venture to say that they would be in the minority, and then almost all the ones that are the most popular have the face on them. Yeah, that's very good. That's a very good piece of advice right there, David. How about you, Larry?
Yeah, I agree with what he said. I mean, for sure, when I watch a video, a lot of the storytelling in a video, even if it's a review or something, is done through people's faces,
and expressions and stuff. Yeah. Cat ass in the face. Gotta love it. Yeah. They do it deliberately.
Lucky she's clean. But,
yes.
Anyway, and I would tell people also, don't do it for the wrong reasons. And that would be thinking you're just going to become
not going to happen.
Thinking you're going to become a star. You know what I mean? Yeah. Only do it if it's going to be fun for you.
Yep.
And when it ceases to be fun, well, then you either need to change something or stop.
Or take a break. I know a lot of people say, hey, if you're feeling burned out, because quite often life does in real life intrudes. And
you know what?
People work, or you're sick or whatever. Take a break. People will be there.
You know what they used to tell writers to write what you know. I think the same thing is true of YouTube. Don't try to come off as an expert on something that you're not an expert on.
Probably good advice to not try to come off like an expert in anything.
A bigger expert than you.
Yeah. Just say, I know a fair amount about this, just enough to get into trouble. But don't, coming off like an expert, unless you really are an expert. And you guys are pretty knowleast about what you talk about.
And even then, be prepared to get corrected and accept it with grace.
Always know more than you.
Yeah.
At least about a certain topic, right?
I mean, what I tell people is what I'm the most expert about is what I like. I mean.
Yeah.
I'm so eclectic that I dip my foot in everything, and there's no way I'm going to know everything about what I'm talking about. And I'm just like, well, if you want to be pedantic about it, go ahead. I don't care. Just go ahead. Like if that.
Well, and I think there's also, if it's done in the right way, where someone is giving you information without looking like a know-it-all or a jerk, then that's great. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that information. That's very welcome. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I try to get it right, but sometimes I mess it up.
Hey, go, man. Yeah. I think I'll hit 1K when hell freezes over. Okay. Well, I mean, it's hard to do if you don't make videos, Goat Man. So I know you're having a lot going on right now, but you got to make videos to eventually people will show up. I think.
Be on my channel. That'll do it for you.
Mark's talking about the losing weight thing, Mediterranean diet. So far, I've lost $200 in my will to live. That's good. And then Seth Beast Reed says, sorry, Brett, not Seth. Sorry, Seth is Peculiar Notions. Sorry, Brett. Every subscriber I get impresses my grandkids. Yeah, they're like, wow, grandpa's cool. He's got subscribers. Yeah, be yourself is everyone's key piece of advice, but it's harder than it sounds, right?
You
It
have
sounds
to have a
really
persona,
easy.
actually. You really do. Like in front of the camera, you are hamming it up. At least I am.
Yeah.
Like I don't run around in life exactly like this, so it's hard.
I'm guessing you're the same, David, wherever you
in front of the camera. I mean, you do.
You have to add some energy and enthusiasm, maybe more. Yeah.
Right.
But don't be fake. Yeah.
Well, also when it says be yourself, some people go, what is that? Right. But I guess it just means try to be comfortable in your own skin. It's hard when you start. You look at earlier videos and you're less comfortable than your later ones. So as you go, you get more comfortable talking to the camera and being, your own personal weird self. Yeah.
One advantage we have being graybeards is we've lived enough that we can tell stories, and we've lived through history in books and in comics, and
so that helps a lot. Yeah. Someone younger is going to be maybe a little more self-conscious. I don't know, but usually you're young enough, you think you know a lot of anything, so that helps. You have that confidence. So, and then when we get older, we have the experience. So I think when they say, again, some people they think it's not helpful when it says be yourself, because they're like, well, what is that? How do you be yourself in front of the camera? So the thing is just practice and like David says, not a fake persona, but your heightened self, I guess, is kind of what it is, really.
Let your best self out. Yeah.
Yeah. And let your passion for what you're talking about, that'll help a lot, because you get excited about something. It'll help make you more engaging of a presence, I guess. But also keep going, just start. If you're thinking about start, get in there and mix it up, try to be fairly regular, or consistent at the beginning anyway. Yeah, regular, not that regular, and keep going. Don't give up. I think that's kind of the thing that in those it's a marathon, not a sprint videos that have come out recently from some of the big booktuber guys there. That's the thing, is that a lot of people give up because they have either, like you said, Larry, mistaken kind of premise of why they're even starting it, or expectations that were overly elevated, or they get disheartened because they're not getting views or whatever. And that's very natural, but you just got to keep going, and eventually people will come, and at least you'll gain your community that are there for you, and the ones that stick around are there for you. And then that's enough. Even if you have just a few, that's enough to keep you going until you get more. So, and also make the kind of videos that you are interested in, that you would want to watch, and not.
Yeah, if you're bored by your own video, then if you're bored by your own video, then it's probably a boring video. So
yeah, you can see it.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate you checking in. Yeah, that's pyrotechnics would be cool to add to a video, like a Kiss concert. I'm kidding, of course. Yeah. As usual, you're kidding there, Erico. I like that answer. The gray beard knows more. Don't chase the algorithm. Yeah. I've added fire and even snow, David says. Yeah. Some of the guys who like editing, like Paul at Check Your Shelf, is really good at editing, and he adds some cool, fun stuff in there. I think like you can't chase the algorithm. It's just impossible. And whatever the gurus tell you, the ones that are worth listening to are the ones that tell you just, make the videos you want to make, that give you the fire in the belly to do it, or make you excited or interested.
Yeah, and along the way, you're going to meet your audience, and that's going to help shape you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we already went way over the hour, Larry. Sorry, but we'll wrap it up here. But first, I want to talk about anything that you got coming up on your channel you want to talk about, or that's going on in your life that you're interested in, that you want to mention before we close out, Larry?
Let's see. First Tuesday of next month is 1971 video for me, the top 10 favorite comics of 71.
Nice.
So,
nice. those.
70 was a lot of fun.
I always disagree with them, but I love them because.
Well, that's the whole point of any of those lists, right? You're not going to agree.
And I've had people argue with me a little bit. And I'm like, well, these are my favorites. Exactly. I'm not saying they're the best, right?
Right.
These are just my favorites.
Yeah. And the best is hard to pin down, so it's easier to go with favorites, right? How about you, David? What do you got coming up? You got another Friday night chat coming tomorrow, probably, hopefully. Anything else?
Right. No. Oh wait. I actually got a box of comics from Donald Rex. I would like to.
Oh, cool. He always sends you such cool stuff.
Off. Yeah. And I'm right now I'm filming a puzzle video. I'm doing this insanely crazy puzzle. It's so hard. I went from one really, really difficult puzzle to another one. I thought it was going to be easy. And it's this one. And it's almost all edge pieces. I thought, it's going to be easy. It
looks hard to me.
Hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard. And it's only 512 pieces. I mean, like, this thing is hard. So
this is one that you said someone on YouTube made or
oh yeah, there's a woman called Yetch, and she's an inventor. So she posts all the products and the steps and why she's making them. And she doesn't just do puzzles, like she designs specific chairs for a reason. Like she designed a chair that holds dirty clothes, and it's like really cool. Like she's got.
That is because how many people throws clothes on chairs? Dirty or clean.
And so she has.
I throw clean ones on,
and still have the She has some really, really cool things. I hadn't realized it, but when he sent me her name, it's like I had been watching her videos. I just didn't recognize the name. And so I'm doing this puzzle, and I'm filming that right now. And I really don't have much else. Like, I just do things spontaneously. And
that's partly why your channel is fun, man. That fits your personality.
Yes. Part of the fun.
Larry's obviously a planner and plans out well, and it shows in his quality of his videos too. So it's just whatever suits your personality probably is the best, right? We got a couple more cool and fun comments here. So Austin saying you enjoyed the live stream. Thank you, Austin, for coming in. Algorithm got to chase me, Chad says. Yep. And Mark's being funny here. He says Jeff will forget all about me when he hits his 100K subscribers. Never ever happen in the.
I told him so will I.
Yeah, I'll hit 1K, Mark. Anyway, even if I hit 100, which will never happen, I'll never forget you, Mark. Thank you. Don't worry about that. Okay. Chad. Whoops. Somehow I got rid of the comments here. Hold on a second, guys. We had something from Chad. Looking forward to watching the stream tomorrow. Sorry, I missed it. Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah. So will I, lol. Yeah, he missed it when he was here, David. Mark, I will always remember you, says Greg at Ghost Reader. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah, the only thing I have coming up, let's see. It's good. Next week is the end of next week will be my 1-year booktube anniversary. Oh. So I'll post a few things related to that probably. I have another video that's not been edited yet about one of my big book of collection things there, and I'm doing a collab tomorrow, a review of the first book in the 70s. I don't want to call it Men's Adventure because it's definitely not that. It's just a Western series with some supernatural elements called Spectros, Dr. Spectros, and I'm doing that on Sam's channel. Sam's what is it? Captain Samuel's Sigils. It's going to be a conversation, and he'll edit it and put it up later this week probably, and that's going to be fun. Sam's a really cool guy with a really good sense of humor. I collaborated with him and Steve from Heroic Book Adventures a while back, almost not quite a year ago, maybe 9 months ago, when we reviewed Hero's Journey, that science fiction book. So should be fun. So look out for that. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for stopping and watching. Really appreciate it. And I want to thank Larry and David, as always, for joining on this fun stream. I think we had we talked about some things that might be of help to some people who are starting off with BookTube. I don't know, or it's food for thought anyway. A little behind the scenes stuff, maybe. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it, everyone, for showing up. And we'll see everybody later on the tube here. And take care, guys. Have a great one.
Bye.
We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
And we'll have the awkward pause as I end the stream. Thanks, everyone.